Good morning, friends. This is Ahmed Mustafa, your paramedic friend in the northeast part of Monroe County, New York, and Webster, New York. Normally on today, Friday, September 11th, the Village of Webster holds a 9/11 Remembrance Day. Oh my goodness. But due to COVID restrictions, that has been canceled. But I didn't want this day to go without being remembered by me personally and without saying thank you to all my fellow first responders and military personnel around the world who ensure that our freedoms and our liberties are protected every single day in this great country. September 11th has a special place in my personal life. I tell people it's the first day that my oldest son, Zachariah, saved my life. I was supposed to be on one of the planes that crashed on this day, but had changed my flight so that I could attend Zachariah's first day of school at St. Rita here in Webster, New York. It started a tradition I have never missed including today, which is to be at home on my children's first day of school. Had I not shifted my flights to be at St. Rita with Zachariah in his first day of school, I may not be here delivering this message today to you. A few days after the planes crashed, I had the honor and privilege to serve as a paramedic at Ground Zero as one of the paramedics with Monroe Ambulance. And I remember as I was driving down thinking, how are these people in such an emotionally charged situation going to have a guy with Mustafa on the back of his coat walking around? And I'll tell you, that's when I really learned the first part about brotherhood in EMS and in first responders as a whole. I didn't get one sideways glance. Nobody said, "What are you doing here, you crazy Muslim guy, on this day of terrorism?" Because people realized I was part of the brotherhood, a brotherhood that has strength beyond definition and comprehension if you're not part of it. I served my 24 hours, I came back home, and our lives in this country and in my family have changed ever since. And so my message to you is this today. Take a minute to reflect. Reflect on your life. Reflect on your contribution to your community. Reflect on how you interact with your fellow man. Life is short. It can be gone in a moment. Thousands of people went to work that day, including many of the first responders, expecting to go home that evening to their families, their wives, their husbands, their children, their significant others, their dogs, their cats, their birds. And they never returned home. And think about the first responders in your community. Watching the media today, we are taken for granted. I look at the law enforcement officers who fear for their lives to do their jobs to protect each one of us. I think about the paramedics and EMTs who have been on the road since this COVID pandemic started, making sure that our community stayed healthy and safe. I think about the firefighters who roll on calls every day, wondering, will this be the call that I don't come home from? We take them for granted. Please today, remember them. If you have a minute, drop by a fire station, a police station, an EMS space in your community and say thank you. If you see them on the street, put your mask on, approach them and say thank you. If you see a soldier today or know of a soldier serving in our armed forces, whether in the US or abroad, please take a minute, send them an email, pick up the phone and call them, or say thank you if you have them a chance to in person. We must remember what keeps us safe. It is the first responders and the soldiers, it is the police officers, it is the firefighters, it is the EMTs and paramedics, it is the 911 dispatchers who are there to take your calls on your worst day. It is the tow truck driver who is standing on the side of the road in 65-mile-an-hour traffic trying to hook up your car while nobody gives way for them. All of these people are part of our first responder family and today deserve recognition, because without them, the country we live in, this wonderful, wonderful nation, would be a much different place. Thank you. God bless all of you. Have a great Friday.